What's up YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got another little quick review for you of a pretty cool knife. This is the Kansept Knives Main Street. Before I get into it, big shout out to the Ponds. Thank you for letting me borrow this knife and letting me carry it and review it, man. That's awesome. It's thanks to people like him that I get to check out such cool knives. You know, there's been quite a few people that have given me knives to review, and it is really a big help. You know, it definitely helps out for sure. So big shout out to him. This will be going back to the Ponds. If you're not a channel member, consider joining the channel, the member, or becoming a Patreon. That's linked down below in the description. I do try to do like a weekly kind of update, just like what's coming up, what's coming down the pipe for Patreons. You know, appreciate everybody that is a Patreon, and appreciate everybody that subscribed. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you want more of it, you want to listen to me ramble some more, hit the subscribe button. I would really greatly appreciate it. So without further ado, here is the Kansept Main Street. Pretty cool looking knife. Definitely a you know, out of the ordinary kind of design. You know, I mean, I know there's a lot more that are similar to it and everything, but I think it's definitely not your standard you know, drop point or something like that. So before I get too far into it, let me go ahead and do specs on it. So from the tip of the blade to the end of the handle, you are looking right at 7 and 15 16ths, almost 8 inches, you know, but not quite. So blade length, you're looking at 3.5, no, not 3.5, 3.25, and or 3 3/8, I'm sorry, and also sharpened edge length 3 3/8. That's a straight line right there, that worn clip. Pretty cool. So also very utilitarian, as they say, you know, very good for draw cuts and slicing rope and stuff. 126 thousandths, thickest part of the spine is what I got there, and behind the edge around 21.5 thousandths. Handle width 0.48 of an inch, 480 thousandths or so of an inch. So not too crazy, not too thick, not too thin on the handle. Nice flat grind going on there. Let's go ahead and do size comparisons. Put the calipers all the way up there. Go ahead and do size comparisons. We will get out the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which is a full-size knife. Main Street, right there at it. You know, I mean, I would go ahead and call this a full-size knife, even though it's not quite 8 inches, but you know, it definitely handles like one and it feels like one. So that is the Spyderco Para 3 up next to it. Para 3 definitely, you know, again, smaller than the Main Street. So what about the Ontario Knives Rat Model 1 and the Ontario Knives Rat Model 2? You know, more closer to the size of the Rat 1 than the Rat 2, I'd say. And finally, we'll get out the Demco, or I'm sorry, the Cold Steel Knives 8010 and the Demco Knives 8020.5. That's the one with the sheep's foot blade. So pretty similar in size actually to the 8020.5, although a little bit longer, a little more sharpened edge length, you know, but a couple similarities there. All right, so got the size comparisons out of the way. What's next? Let's we'll weigh this bad boy. Get the old scale out here. Now this does feel a little heavy. Balance on this one, I'd say right about here. You know, seems like it's balanced right about there, which is good. Choke back, you know. Choked up, not too bad either. So I would guess, if I had to guess, I'm not sure, I haven't weighed this thing yet, so kind of feels I don't know, 4.5 ounces maybe, 4.3, so fairly close. 4.4 and 4.4, 4.3, 4.3, 4.4. So definitely over the ounce and inch ratio. You know, you'll notice it a little bit if you're wearing gym shorts, swimming trunks, something like that. You know, I wouldn't recommend it for something like that. But if you're wearing like work pants or, you know, regular shorts or jeans, whatever, you know, I don't think it would be too crazy to carry. I've definitely carried much heavier knives. You can see that milling in there. The liners are milled out a little bit for weight reduction. That's good. Let's go ahead and do the old blue jeans here. So you're looking at deep carry clip, you know, pretty much disappears in the pocket. Got a little bit poking out there, but not too much, you know, pretty essentially disappears in the pocket. Clip works just fine in my opinion, pretty smooth. I like the texturing on this G-Mascus, they call it. It's like layered G10. Let's go ahead and do the hardware check. We'll get out, this is a T6 that I got in there right now. Let's go ahead and check. We'll check the pocket clip screws first. So I got the T6 in. Yeah, T6. And swap over to the T8. Yeah, T8. Body screws, T8 there. I think that's a T8. Might even be a T10. Yeah, it's definitely a T8 on that. So T8 on that, I was just double checking, make sure that wasn't a Torx. T8 on the body screws and T8 on the pivot. Not a captive pivot, so that's not good. I mean, it might have D-shaped pivot barrel in there or something, you know, but you'd need two drivers essentially taking it apart, one on each side. Not too much hardware, you know. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 if you want to take it all the way apart. 5, 6, you know, so not too bad. T6 on the pocket, on the pocket clip, T8 everywhere else. Put the driver away here. All right, so getting down to brass tacks on this thing. The action on it is really smooth. The tension on the, that Omega spring that's on there, whatever kind of spring that is, might not be necessarily an Omega spring by name, but that certainly functions like one and looks like one. But the tension on here is pretty good. It's not too tight, you know. I mean, it doesn't whip it back in, you know, like it's not that kind of tight, but it is a pretty good amount of tension. I'd say the perfect amount of tension, really. You know, standing straight up, you pull it back in, it will pull back down, so that's good. No issues there with the lock bar. Really smooth G10, like I said earlier. That's a really cool looking pattern. They've got multiple patterns. This one, multiple versions of it too. This one runs at, let's see, 82, around 82 bucks, 82 on their website. And Kansept does do sales periodically, you know, where they'll have them marked down and discounted. You can see Dirk Pinkerton, that's the designer. You know, I've handled some of his other stuff he designed. Pretty good designer, pretty cool stuff that he puts out. A little jimp in there, that's pretty cool. Wish they had a back spacer, that'd be neat. No lanyard hole, which is not, to me, a big deal at all. You know, I don't really care about that, but that is something to be aware of. It is right-handed tip up carry only, the way it looks. No spot for that. I would imagine they would have lefty versions, but I'm not 100% sure. So you can see Dirk Pinkerton's logo, Main Street, and you flip it over on the other side, you get the really small letters, you get the model number and 154 cm, which is a great steal. You know, 154 cm for anything, you know, especially under $100 is money. You know, I think it's a pretty decent steal. No, I've never had any issues with it. It strops pretty well. It holds an edge decently, you know, so no issues there. You can reverse flick the thumb stud on this. Thumb studs are like the conical ones, you know, that kind of progress up, so that's pretty cool. You can choke back is where it's at. That jimping's really comfortable right there. You know, definitely got a full 4-finger grip. Choke back like that. Choked up, can't really go anywhere. You know, that's one issue I got with it is, you know, they could have carved that out for a choil. I think that would have been pretty cool, but Yeah, you can't really choke up too much like that. You can you know, put your thumb way up there, kind of draw back like that. Pinch grip, you know, you can definitely do that, you know, draw cuts, stuff like that. So that's pretty good. Overall, I would say this is a pretty good knife, especially for the price. They run about 82 bucks. You know, no issues at all with it. It is fairly straightforward ergonomically, you know, and that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I like this one. I'm not going to put it on my most recommended playlist, but it is not a bad knife at all. It's a pretty decent knife for sure. And really appreciate the Pons letting me borrow this thing and check it out for sure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to. So thank you, Pons, and thank you guys for watching. And if you like the content, hit the like button. If you want to hear me ramble more, consider hitting the subscribe button, becoming a subscriber. It's free, you know, and that helps me out a lot. Hit the like button, helps me out some. Hit the subscribe button, helps me out a lot. So yeah, and also there's a Patreon if you really want to support the channel. I think it starts at $2 a month is my lowest tier, and goes up from there. So appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate all you guys and gals for watching and supporting me. Hope you have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this. Until next time, stay sharp.